Hi guys, here's another video. I've got this Hyundai Lawnmower. I'll show you the model there. Just highlight that for you. HYM3200. Gonna have a look at it today. Apparently it's a rock and stopped working, or hit a brick or something. So just quick whiz around it, and I'll just show you what the problem is here. Apparently, if you press the trigger, the motor sounds, but the blade doesn't spin. I'll show you there. You need a motor, but the blade's not spinning. Should have turned it over and showed you, but believe me. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is first and foremost undo the electrical power. First and foremost, I'm just gonna pop the machine on the bench, have a look at it. More than likely it sounds like the belt snapped, so just undo these two screws on the top here, and then this cover should just lift away, as you can see here. And then what I've got to do is remove this drive mechanism with the motor. So just flip it upside down and show you. On the underside there are 6 screws holding the drive mechanism in place, which I'm going to undo. There's only 5 screws, so someone must have had to go with this at some stage, but it's supposed to be 6. So here you can see I'm just removing it. I'll just fast forward this. I'll fast forward certain sections just to make the video a bit shorter. So now that I've got the screws undone, I'm just going to remove this blade. So I'll just grab a hold of the blade here and undo the retaining nuts, which has got a 13mm head, a bit tight. Just jolted it free there. So I'm just going to remove this nut, the retaining nut for the blade. Get that out of the way. There you can see I've retaining bolt. Sorry, I've got it out of the way. Now this plastic clip washer is causing problems. Can't get it off. So what I try to do is cut the plastic for a buttonhole kind of thing, but it just fell off. As you can see there, it just popped off. And as you can see here, it's just get a close up here. It's actually glued on, which is why I couldn't get it off. But now that it's off, I'm able to remove the drive mechanism. As you can see there, the belt came off anyway, but the spindle is damaged. Highlight that there, it's got a crack in it, and because it's cracked, the wheels running buckled, and that's why the belt came off. Let me just turn it to the side and show you side angle view. Just show you there, you see it's buckled, so that's why the belt keeps coming off. You can see the motor on the left and the wheel spinning on the right is for the drives the blade, the pulley that drives the blade. Okay, so what I'm going to do is get my heat gun out and see if I can melt it back into position, melt it straight. So this is the high part where it's buckled, so I'm just going to press that down, and I'm just going to warm this section up of the pulley up. Hopefully it'll keep it straight, and it's nice and hot now. I'm just going to hold it in the position till it cools, and I've let go of the pliers now, and as you can see it's nice and straight now. So I'll just put the heat gun away, just spin it. It's still a bit hot to touch there, but it is running straight, so I've left it a little bit longer. And just get a close up. As you can see here, it's running straight now. The drive pulley for the blade. And now that that's done, I've just got to undo these 4 screws which hold the motor tensioner. So if I hold them, undo the 4 screws, it'll take the slack off the motor, so I can refit the belt. You saw it just move back there because it's nice and free now. And just show you here, it slides backwards and forwards for the tension for the belt. And there's the belt, the old belts that came off. It's just got a bit of crease on it because it was like tucked underneath. So I'm just fitting the pulley around the motor. Pulley's on the right, motor's on the left. And it's just a matter of forcing the belt on. As you can see there. A little bit fiddly. But you can see I've managed to get the belt on eventually. You can see there. Okay. Now that the belt's on, all I've got to do now is put a bit of tension. I'm going to use this screwdriver to hold the tension on the belt. As you can see there, it's nice and taut now, whilst I tighten up the retaining screws, which will hold it in that position. There's 4 of them. And you can see it's nice and tight now. So I'm just going to give it a test. Not advise that you do this. And you can see there, it's jumping around a bit, but it's spinning. Like I said, I don't advise you to do this stage. Just put it back into the machine. Okay, I've removed the power cord. So now I'm just going to refit the whole thing, the drive assembly. It's just there's 6 screws, like I said, but I'm just going to put the cover over first, because on this one the cover actually holds it in place as well. So I'll just put this blue cover over and put the 2 screws in the top. As you can see there, just fast forward this section also. Yeah, to speed this section up also. So as you can see here, I've put the 2 screws in the top, and I'll just flip it over because I've got to tighten up these 6 screws, even though there's only 5. So I'm just going to put those screws back in. And I'll just speed this section up also because there's quite a few, well, there's 5 screws to put in. I'm going to bore you with that. Okay, I've got the screws back in now. So the running assembly is back in place. So all I'm going to do is put a bit of super glue around this thing, this spacer, and bolt the blade back on. I had to break it off before, so I'm just going to super glue it back on. It's nice and tight here. There you can see it's nice and tight. And that's complete. Just going to give it a try. Got a thumbs up there. So just a matter of plugging the power supply in, power cord in, just give it a spin, and you can see there the flaps come up. So the blade spinning. Let me just flip it over this time and show you. When I press the trigger, the blade spins now. So that's a successful repair. So with that, thanks for watching once again, and please subscribe.